But that's going to bring us to my match of the round. And this was Adelaide versus Melbourne. And of course, this was going to be match of the round because this is one of the craziest games of footy that I have ever seen. And I have no problem saying that, mostly because I've really only been watching for like getting close to a year at this point. But this was a fantastic game. This was an instant classic in the game that featured so many lead changes. It was like flipping a coin in most of the way through this game, and none other than Big Tex Taylor Walker comes up insanely clutch in the closing minutes of this game. He puts Adelaide up for good over Melbourne. And the D's lose their first game of the season. They are 9-1, and Adelaide's able to defend their home stadium at the Adelaide Oval. They were down in good parts through this game. The D's give up two kind of comfortable points and leads in this one, which was really kind of weird to see, especially since they're up 16 in the last little bit of the fourth. They still give it up. Of course, what's a classic of a game without a little bit of controversy? Because there's a deliberate out of bounds free kick that was not paid in 9 seconds, despite the Crows appearing to handball the ball directly into the boundary line. I know you might have a little bit of disagreements with that statement, Donnie, but your thoughts on this one, and then let's talk about this. I'll put in air quotes for those that disagree with the controversy.
Oh, this you have my vote there as well. This was absolutely the game of the round. What a back and forth game of footy. There were points of dominance for Melbourne and a couple of points to the point where they almost had 20-point leads both in the first and the fourth quarter. But this Crows team just they had their best game at the right possible time. Um, Tex Walker just absolutely comes up clutch with 2 goals late in that game to help this Crows team win it. The absolute insane scene at Adelaide in Adelaide at the Oval when the final siren went off and they celebrated the win. But this was just a really good game of footy. Like you said, there was many lead changes. It was back and forth. It was tough, almost final atmosphere type of footy, and it makes you kind of go, where was this Crows team weeks ago? Where was this Crows team when they played the West Coast Eagles last week?
Mm-hmm.
Where was this Crows team when they dropped a couple of games in the previous 3 or 4 games this season? So it's you want to question the Melbourne Demons a little bit, but then you almost look at it as this is a little bit of a trap game. You have the Western Bulldogs coming up this week. Everybody's talking, well, you have a chance to be 10-0 going into that big game against the Western Bulldogs. I mean, I'll raise my hand. I said it last week. I thought they were going to go into the Western Bulldogs game 10-0 with a chance to be 10-0 versus 9-1.
I did too, Donnie, but don't want to fault you too much because that's like at least 90% of the entire AFL fan base.
I would almost go 95, even a little bit higher.
Right?
This literally sent shockwaves through the entire footy world. So
Not
many
the Crows
pundits.
fans had really much hopes going to this one.
There were even some diehard Crows fans that openly admitted that they probably they
Oh,
didn't think they would win this game, but that's just the way this season has been. And
yes.
I think it brings in the parity in this league. Yes, you do have that 8-point gap between second and third in the ladder, but I think it's going to start coming closer and closer over the next few rounds because the Western Bulldogs and Demons are going to start getting the Brisbane Lions, the Port Adelaide Powers, the West Coast Eagles, the
Mm-hmm.
tougher teams, the Sydney Swans, the GWS Giants, the Richmond Tigers. They're going to start getting these tougher teams more. So I think the gap here I think is eventually going to squeeze up when it comes to the controversy, as everybody likes to say. Again, the umpires have struck again that they make a call that by all accounts, looking at all of the vision, looking at everything you can possibly see, it's pretty obvious he put it out intentionally. Probably should have been a free kick. The
Mm-hmm.
referees have already come out this morning and said, "Yeah, we messed up again." And I understand that the AFL is trying as hard as they can to protect these referees because of the fact that these are such high drama games. But I think the biggest thing that a lot of fans need to do is they need to dial down. I know it's frustrating when your team loses because there's
Mhm.
so much passion, and I respect and love that. But eventually, we're not going to be able to play the game we love if we destroy these referees.
Yeah.
Okay. Because one of the things I'm hearing a lot of is in grassroots footy is it's hard to get kids to want to play referee because even in youth, referees are getting abused in the sidelines. As
Probably shouldn't be
funny,
laughing at that, but that's
and that's what I was gonna say. As funny as it may sound, it's
yeah.
not good. I mean,
Uh,
I would even go as far as saying it's even a problem here in the States nowadays
yeah.
that it's so hard to get umpires and referees for things because you deal with a lot of know-it-alls in the stands, whether they're parents, whether they're players, different things like that. I think it's the reason, maybe it's the coach in me, but I try not to complain about the refereeing. I've said it, I know I sound like a broken record, but I try not to complain because these referees are human. They're gonna stuff things up. It's
Mhm.
going to happen. It just really stinks when they stuff it up at the worst possible time. But I brought this statistic up when we were off camera, and I'd like to state it again here, Ross, just to
Mhm.
remind people, is that I want you, for the fans that are listening to this, I want you to go and think about the three teams that have had a controversial loss. You have the Melbourne Demons, sitting second on the ladder currently. 8 point gap between them and third. Oh, yes. In third place, the Geelong Cats had the controversy at Sydney. They are 8 points away from eighth place. And the third and final team that had a controversial loss would be the Brisbane Lions, who sit fourth in the ladder, also 8 points out. So I know it stinks to lose 4 points, but the three teams that have had this happen to them, I don't think they're hurting for points right now. So I almost kind of go, I know it's a really odd thing to kind of connect the dots here, but I think they'll get over it because I think these three fan bases will understand they should all three make the finals
Mhm.
unless utter chaos happens,
Right.
which, as much as it may seem like it may happen after this round and a few other rounds, I don't think Brisbane, Geelong, and Melbourne are all going to start losing every single game the rest of the season.
You
I
know,
mean,
I don't think so either. I think something weird, really weird is going to happen if all those teams start losing.
it,
Hey, but
it
if that means the Giants go up the top eight a little more, I won't complain.
well, they got to win too. So let's not jump the shark on that. But no, but so it's kind of one of those where I understand the frustrating in the moment, but take a deep breath because there's still 12 games of footy still left to be played and 13 rounds still left to be played. So I think it'll all work out in the end. It
Mhm.
stinks. I know it. I understand it stinks when you lose a game like that. I think every fan that's ever watched any sporting event has lost a game where they felt they were wronged, but
Yep.
you kind of have to let it go. So
Yep.
so if I in the Melbourne Demons, I mean 9-0, that is an incredible accomplishment. You set yourself up nice and well for this rest of this year, and you get a nice game to bounce back in, another tester to kind of see if you're right back at it with the Western Bulldogs this week.
Mhm.
So if I'm a D's fan, there's a lot of things to take out of positive. Max Gone had another really good game. Clayton Oliver, holy Moses, what a game!
He's on fire,
And
and he's one of the top guys without a doubt for the Brownlow at this point.
he's him, Max Gone, and Alex Petrarca are the three guys from the Melbourne Demons that I think are going to hear their name called out several times on
It's
Brownlow
crazy.
Day.
Melbourne arguably has two top five Brownlow medalists at this point. That's that's a lot of firepower. Correct me if I'm wrong, Donnie, but that's an incredible amount of firepower at that point. I'm glad you brought the word parity because we have completed the 2021 circle of parity with this season. And so stick with me here. I'm going to read it out for you all.
You loved
All
that
right.
tweet when I tweeted that out. I saw that the
Yeah, I loved
USAFL
it. It's
account
great.
tweeted that out, so I had to tweet it because it's like I watched it. I'm like, wow, that actually is
It's
everybody's beating
it's
everybody in
crazy.
some
All
way
right.
or another.
Here we go. I'm gonna read it out for all of you that don't know. I'm going to probably need a couple of breaths for this one. All right. Melbourne beats GWS. GWS beats Sydney. Sydney beats Geelong. Geelong beats Brisbane. Brisbane beats Richmond. Richmond beats the Bulldogs. The Bulldogs beat the West Coast. West Coast beats Port Adelaide. Port Adelaide beats St Kilda. St Kilda beats Gold Coast. Gold Coast beats Collingwood. Carlton beats Essendon. Fremantle beats North Melbourne. The Hawthorn Hawks, or North meets Hawthorn. And then Adelaide beats Melbourne. Did that in one breath. Let's go. Woo! I
So the
I
circle
love
never
this.
being broken, right?
It's so great.